me up. Wake me up inside. I can't wake up.
I won't wake
Save
up.
me. I won't wake up. Save me. Call my name and save me from the... Dude, I can't name any other Evanescence song with that one. I don't know if they did anymore.
When you cried, I wipe away all of your tears.
Oh yeah, I do remember that one. Now that you're singing that one, but I couldn't think of it offhand.
And then
I do remember that one from back in the day, though.
And then there's the one with Seether. Remember that one?
No.
And then he goes, I wanted you to know when I love the way you laugh. All right.
I actually don't think I know that one.
Because I'm broken when I'm lonesome.
Okay, I do know that part. Yeah.
He's off like the Punisher, the Punisher movie. It's like a theme song.
Oh, the first one, not the first one, but like the like 2000s one. Yeah,
the 1960s Punisher
the like 2005 one, right?
Yeah, it was from the 1960s. It was very forward thinking.
Well, there was a 90s one.
No, I know, but
yeah. There was a 90s Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. It was bad.
I don't understand how any of that could be bad. That doesn't track with me.
What, 1990s Dolph Lundgren? That's true.
It can only be great. It can only be the best thing ever. Let's check out this chat. It's popping.
Okay, I was just sharing. I just shared it all to the... Wow, that is a lazy thumbnail. I just shared it all to the Discords. So, dude, I'm gonna have to go listen to some Evan. I used to have an Evanescence CD, but I can still only think of those two songs.
Yeah.
Now,
I think they had one more. It's not. I can't remember it.
Apparently, they just did music. I haven't listened to it because I don't give a shit. But they just did music for the Devil May Cry Netflix anime that just came out, and I'm like, that is the most 2000s thing I've ever heard in my life.
When that show got announced, JD immediately messaged me, and he goes, they totally fucked the show up, and he said that they played the theme song for that show is Limp Bizkit.
That's the 2000s, man.
I know it sounded
the era.
It sounded right to me, but he said it was terrible. I don't know.
I used to, well, and I haven't watched it, to be fair. I might watch it. I have, because I'm a big fan of that series, and I do have like the 2000s anime they did on DVD, and it's pretty cool. So I might check it out. I'm a little worried though, because I saw a thing, like an article that was like, the Netflix Devil May Cry anime confirms that it's in the same universe as Raccoon City, and I'm like, are you fucking telling me like the people that survived the Resident Evil games exist in the same universe as like all these demons and deities and like heaven and hell and all this stupid shit in the Devil May Cry games? It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was worried about like not getting eaten by a fucking spider in Resident Evil 1, and you're telling me there's like giant monstrous demon creatures in the same universe?
Is that supposed
to be... I don't like this idea.
Is that supposed to be like a callback to like Devil May Cry being the offshoot of Resident Evil, like it was originally, right? Something like that. Like it was supposed to be one of them.
Yeah, it was like Devil May Cry 1 was not failed, but like was one of their ideas for Resident Evil 4, and then they just turned it into its own thing.
Yeah,
because it was going too far off the rails to be a Resident Evil game. So maybe. But I still don't like that idea.
It was going. I like the concept that Devil May Cry was going too far off the rails for Resident Evil, and then we have Resident Evil 6, and then they're like,
yeah, but even Resident Evil 6 is tame compared to like some shit in Devil May Cry. So yeah, I don't know. Resident Evil 6 is fucking awesome. I hate that game. It's stupid, and I also love it because it's like listening to Limp Bizkit. Like you gotta shut off your brain, like the critical part of your brain, and just enjoy the dumb nonsense that's happening before you,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's fun.
Yeah. I got video games pulled up.
Yeah.
It's let's see what we got here. WWE 2K25. We got a DreamHacks emulation tool. We got another emulation tool, and I think another emulation tool. What is Brave trying to tell me? What's that?
What are you looking at?
Literally the screen. Literally the screen.
But what are you reading off of?
What am I reading off of? Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the stream.
I don't have the stream.
Well, that's what
I have the chat
that's what
open. I
I'm
don't have the
reading
stream
off of. That's what I'm looking at. Is the stream.
But what's on the stream, Spencer? Oh no, I got it pulled up right here.
Jesus Christ, Alex.
Okay, you see. Okay, so you just googled video games.
Yeah, I just put that in the Brave.
And that's what
search.
popped up.
And we have WWE and then 3 emulation tools. Could you please turn the volume down on the stream? Jesus Christ. Today's live stream is going to be me teaching Alex how to operate as an adult. We're just gonna.
I have it on my. Sorry, I had it on my phone, and I didn't realize the volume was on.
See, Alex, you don't need to tell me that because you don't need to tell me that because I'm very aware of all of those things that you just said. Did I?
Do you want me to hold on? Here you go. There you go. Is that weird?
Wait, did you pull it up on your phone but forget to turn the volume down? Hold on.
Yes.
I'm trying to.
That's exactly what I did. I pulled it up on my phone. I forgot to turn the volume down. Look, dude, I have this little thing, the wireless charger that like holds my. It's like a stand. It like holds my phone. Isn't that nice?
Is that like the
prop it up over
the key or the Z or something like that? Something chargers.
What?
There's like something called like a key,
I don't know.
QI charger or something.
This thing. Yeah. It is one of these. But yeah, see, it's like that. And then I usually have it by my bedside because I use wireless charging most of the time, so I just pop it on there. But it's nice for this because I can like just pop it up on my desk here and keep the chat up. You know.
Yeah, and keep the volume at max.
Don't worry about.
So
yeah, keep the volume at max, and I might even go on Spotify.
Yeah, play some tunes that'll get us stripped right off. You know what? Let's hit
Evanescence.
Yeah, let's get some Evanescence going right now. I want to hear it. I want to see how fast we can burn our channel.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors? That is literally like the most 2002 song. You know what I mean? It's like
it is, and it's like also it's the most 2002 thing to be emotionally affected by it. Like where you're listening to it and you're just like you're like, oh.
But a little part of me is, you know?
Yeah. You're like,
it's like,
dude, this song's gay. And then you're quietly in the back, like you're on the drive home, and you're like,
That's how I feel. Okay, look, as much as I make fun of it, dude, I am forever like a new metal kid. You know what I mean? And that's just if you existed between that time period of like 1999 to like 2004, I think.
Yeah,
like that, you're a new metal kid because like that's what was on.
It's hard to escape it because it's like. In one hand, you know how terrible it is, but on the other hand, it is your childhood. Like there's no
it's like half of my personality is based on that.
There's no getting around it. It's
like I hate it, but I can't. I can't say it.
There's like other generations who are like, God, you know, growing up, all I could hear on the radio was like the Beatles, and like all I could hear on the radio was Led Zeppelin. And then the next one's like, all I could hear was like Duran Duran. So like I have to like reference it. And then the next generation's like, all I could hear was Nirvana. And then unfortunately ours is like, all I could hear was POD. It sucks.
It's like that breakdown from Freak on a Leash lives in my head, man. It's just like, but I love it. No, quite literally, I can listen to. I'm not a huge fan of theirs. I like their first couple albums, but Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. I listen that fucking album. I listen to that thing like front and back, and I fucking love it. But yeah, I know if I had somebody like some kids today listen to it, they'd be like, "This is garbage." Yeah.
What up, Big Mackers? Terry's in.
What up?
Yeah,
Better than big. Well, you could call us big knackers.
Linkin Park. It is unfortunately Linkin Park is actually the soundtrack to Earthbound and Chrono Trigger for me, because when I was first getting into those games, I was emulating and I was also downloading music off of Kazaa, and it was Linkin Park almost exclusive. And so now those two games are intrinsically linked to Linkin Park.
I didn't like Linkin Park after they dropped like the more like new metal, like rap rock stuff, and they just started doing more like just straight up like whiny rock stuff. You know what I mean?
You're thinking like Minutes to Midnight?
I didn't like them as much. Yeah, I didn't like them as much then, but like the first album, Hybrid Theory, I think it's fucking wow. I think it's great. I think it's got just enough of both.
What about Meteora? You didn't?
Yeah, No, it's good too. It's got stuff I like on it too, but I think just in general, like Hybrid Theory is the only one that I like all the way through. That's just the one album that I'm like, yes, the whole way. It's great.
I think Meteora is my peak, and I was obsessed with that CD. I would literally, because at that time I was really into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I would go to a card shop like almost every weekend, and I would just sometimes walk, sometimes ride my bike, but it would be. I had my CD player. Yeah, back in the day we had CD players. We didn't have MP3 players. And I just put the
portable CD player.
I have that, and I would just go, and it would be Linkin Park the entire way, front and back. It was just endlessly that.
Yeah, man. Terry is at Terry. Just rewind the chat. We literally just talked about this. He's asking about this song for "Don't Make Me Cry." We were literally just chatting about that. That's what got us on this tangent.
Terry put up an interesting video. Did you see it recently? Just like within the last, I think it was yesterday.
The Nintendo one?
Yeah, an angry Nintendo. Did you know that Terry was not a fan of modern Nintendo
one?
I was not aware that Terry had such strong feelings about Nintendo in 2025.
I didn't know that. I didn't watch it. Terry, I didn't watch it because I noticed in the thumbnail you're highlighting the like games not on a card thing. That's not new. Nintendo's been doing that this whole Switch generation. There so many Switch games are not on the card. So I'm not affected by that. I'm affected by the price. I'm upset about how much the Switch 2 games are.
But Alex,
the game's not on a card thing. Whatever.
Alex, it's bullshit.
Is it? Listen, if you're already a PC gamer, you're not buying physical games anyway. So shut up. What are you upset about?
Alex really trying to gain our subscriber count by telling the audience to shut up. Brian's in the chat. I got Kings. Hey Brian, happy Friday.
Brian knows all. Brian, what did you think of we were talking about new metal? What did you think of new metal? He doesn't even know what that is. New metal? You mean Led Zeppelin?
No, Brian's new metal was tin. With the invention of tin. You mean the Industrial Revolution? Oh, I was there for it. It was something.
Gary says, any opportunity to trash on Nintendo, I take it. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I try to be fair and critical. I'm just like not happy right now with anything. I feel like I'm in my grumpy old man era.
Oh wow.
Game Key gave me opportunity. See, that's the thing is that the Game Key thing, The game key thing is just a name for what they've already been doing. They just gave it a cute little name now. So, because like they already did it. Like when you buy a game for Switch, it says it on the box. Usually, it says like you need to download it.
That's with
Yeah.
all games. Brian
Yeah.
says like System of the Down.
Like System of the Wow, that hurt me. That's my favorite new metal band, and you just you just fucked up the name.
System of the Down.
System of the Down.
Wake up!
That's
Let's
funny.
see System of the System.
Are you googling System of the Down?
Oh, it still works. You're okay, Brian.
Well, yeah, it's just one word. It's just one word.
You're okay, Brian. It's System of the Down from now on.
I'm happy that that's the first band that popped up when he thought of new metal, because that's probably the best one. And it's my favorite
I
one.
guess
So.
they're new metal, but I always consider them just like hard rock.
It's the we yeah. I don't know what the real definition of new metal is, because you can lump a lot of like you can lump a lot of them that are like rap rock in, and then you can lump a lot of them that are more metal, that have like weirder elements. I guess I don't know what the real definition of new metal is.
I personally would refer to it as the combination of hard rock and usually rap, which keeps most of what I think of it in, except for Korn.
Yeah, but there's some that like don't do that, and then there's some that like do that I don't know if you consider new metal. Do you consider like Rage Against the Machine to be new metal? Because I
No.
don't.
Hell no.
And that's that's definitely got rap in it.
Yeah,
but it's definitely got rap though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but there's a certain I think because Rage Against the Machine was in the 90s, so
Yeah.
I don't really think of them as that. I also think it's got like a certain sound to it. I think what they the tuning of the guitars changes for new metal as well. But that's getting a little more technical. But in general, no. I don't think Rage Against the Machine is new metal, although they do have rock and rap. Let's see.
That's another band that I think I could probably sing the lyrics to every Rage Against the Machine album.
Yeah, and just really impress everybody at a barbecue.
Freedom! Freedom! Just like, what is his deal over there? Scream about freedom.
Terry says, but people are finally listening, and I did the video just to tell everyone I told you so. Terry is so proud of himself.
It is weird to see this, like, all the backlash right now, because like usually, like even like the Nintendo nerds are like, well, but it seems like everybody was like, no, like that sucks.
Specifically on the price or what?
Yeah. I think it's mainly the game, and I haven't seen as many people talk about the game key thing. I've seen a few, but mainly the price issue. They're like $80 digital, 90 physical. Maybe that hasn't been confirmed, but that's what listings say.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Well, I don't know if this is playing into it, but obviously inflation has been crazy, and also we have theoretically tariffs.
Yeah, not theoretical tariffs.
Well, no, it is theoretical because the tariffs depend on if they choose to keep their tariffs on us. If they don't,
yeah, it's true. I know. I know I saw a thing yesterday that I was talking about different companies that are being affected, but I know Nvidia is one of them, and I believe they use Nvidia chips and stuff in the Switch.
I mean, they use
so
foreign stuff for everything, so everything theoretically could go up.
I know, but like I'm saying, I know for sure that Nvidia has some stake in what goes into the Switch consoles. I believe they have a deal, so I know that's probably for sure affecting that. And like I can't be mad at Nintendo that much for this, but at the same time, it's just gross. You know what I mean? It's just gross to be like, oh man, I'm excited for the new Mario Kart and Donkey Kong game, and then like find out I have to pay $90 for a physical copy, and I'm like, oh well, I'm not that excited anymore.
Yeah. Well, Terry's saying that tariffs are only America, though. I mean, America's the only one that counts, Terry. But he
Yeah.
said there are no tariffs of Japanese goods coming to the UK, and we don't know. I don't know the UK prices. I never looked.
Apparently, the Switch 2 pre-orders are being pushed back now here. I saw a thing yesterday about that from like CNN. So
Pushed back?
we'll see.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, they're like pushing back the date for the pre-orders for the Switch 2 here.
Oh,
So I don't know. They have I haven't seen an I saw that on a CNN thing though. I haven't seen like an actual Nintendo announcement about that. So I think right now they're just they're just riding that hype. Maybe they'll pull the band-aid off soon.
I would guess the
Yeah.
backlash of this is entirely based on the price and not anything else. Because if you just look at the actual direct in a bubble, it was incredibly good.
Yeah. Okay, yes. If I remove myself from the price issue now, even the game key thing doesn't bother me because I buy all my games digital now anyway, so I don't give a shit. But so if I remove myself from the price issue and just look at the direct, yeah, it was great. I think the hardware doesn't impress me, but I think it is just what it needs to be. You know, it's just another Switch, but a little bit more powerful and it's got new features.
Mhm.
Which does feel that feels weird for me for like a Nintendo console because I'm so used to a Nintendo console giving me whiplash every time they announce one. To just be like, no, we're just doing this again. You know, like that feels bizarre. To like not have to like reacquaint myself with a
Yeah.
new like Nintendo idea. You know, to
Yeah,
just be like, oh.
every time Nintendo announces a console, usually it's like watching a superhero that gets stuck in a pit, and you're like, "How's he gonna get out of this one?" You're just like how's Nintendo gonna do this? Portable and a console? What the hell? But yeah, this time they're
And
just like
sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. You know,
they were just like, Switch was really successful. Why don't we just do it again? And they're like, okay. And everyone, it was the easiest boardroom meeting of all time. They were just like, Switch 2? They're like, yeah. They're like, okay, let's get some takeout.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They're resting on their laurels. That Switch made a shit ton of money, and there's already a ton of people in that ecosystem. So why abandon it? But yeah, no, the games do look good. I know Terry's going on a rant right now. I'm just going to ignore that. The games look great. I think the Mario Kart one looks interesting. The idea of like an open Mario Kart game is cool. I'm also kind of I'm also not sure how to feel about it till I actually play it, but like I'm sure it'll be fun. The one I'm really excited about was the Donkey Kong one, Donkey Kong Bonanza. That game looks cool. I mean, it's an open Donkey Kong game where you just trash everything. Like that's a cool idea. And
Yeah, it was.
you know, I've been
It looked like a
they've
combination of
they're
open world and side scroller.
yeah, and there's been like rumors for years now that a 3D Donkey Kong was happening, and everyone's like, no, it's not. So it's cool to see like it actually was in development for all this time, and something did come of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I love Donkey Kong, of course, so like that really excites me that they're actually doing something. Um, what else?
Yeah,
Um,
That Mario Kart looks fantastic. I think that idea
yeah,
is
I
genius.
Yeah, but I just don't know how that works for a kart racer, you know? Like, it is a cool idea. There's just a lot of blanks that need to be filled in my mind to, like, understand it. You know?
You know what I
It's
thought they should do is find a way to do a procedurally generated map where it's like an endless map and kind of like what they're talking about where racers like fall off as the map progresses. Um, they should found a way to do that. So it's just it looks good, but it's also
don't
procedurally generated.
I don't think they would do procedurally generated, though, with Nintendo. I don't think they would. It just seems like not
A Nintendo
a
idea.
Nintendo
'Cause
thing
it's
to
not like
do.
controls.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everything like, even, like, the open world Zelda games, like, every little piece of it is controlled. You
Mhm.
know? Um, Terry says the Banana Wars will finally be settled. Maybe we'll see in Bonanza.
That's an old reference.
Spencer will know.
That's a very old
Spencer
reference.
will know. He's the Pope of the Banana Wars.
That means.
Oh, Brian says maybe Chunky will be in DK Bonanza. No, Brian, Chunky's dead. You need to accept it.
There you go.
No, 10 years too late. Open World Mario Kart is an original. Well, yeah, but like Nintendo's always 10 years too late for most of their ideas. It's just their execution's usually better. I mean, fuck. Look, I mean, again, Breath of the Wild. Okay, I don't have many great things to say about Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's fine, but Breath of the Wild is like one of my favorite Zelda games of all time, and that was an open world game well after.
Yeah,
like, that was the thing.
Breath of the Wild came a long time after Skyrim. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah. But it still was
it's
like,
great.
Wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of Zelda, they're doing another Hyrule Warriors, I guess, 4 Tears of the Kingdom. Like, kind of like they did Age of Calamity. I forget what it's called, the new one, but yeah, they're doing another one of those, which excites me. I like Hyrule Warriors a lot, so I'll probably end up playing it. But it's also just kind of that.
The unfortunately titled Age of Imprisonment. I don't know if I like that name very much. I guess.
Maybe it takes. Right? Maybe it takes place between games, or I have no clue. I don't know anything about the story. All I know is that if it's like the fucking Age of Calamity story, it's gonna piss me the hell off. I don't know. Age of Calamity, I thought they had a really good idea for, and then they just shit all over it at the end. Because Age of Calamity was like, okay, what if we showed the war before Breath of the Wild? And I was like, brilliant. That's a good idea. Like 100 years before Breath of the Wild. I love that idea. And then you play the actual story in Age of Calamity, which is a good game. It's fun. But then it's like time gets reset and none of it actually happened.
Oh,
and you're like, then why did I play this?
They do that shit so they can, but they do that just so they can throw all the characters in, right?
Yeah. That's exactly why. But like that's not what they promised in the like trailers and like the direct.
Because you want
the direct idea. Like,
you want the events of that to be able to lead up to Breath of the Wild.
I wanted the canonical, and then, I get it because they want to put more characters in, and it's a Warriors game, so people want that. I didn't need that though. I just needed them to, a handful of characters and a good story is all I needed. And instead, they went fucking nuts. So I'm scared for this one too.
Yeah,
I don't trust them. What else? Duskbloods, Spencer. The Duskbloods. That feels like something. That feels like that feels like Nintendo was like, "Hey, FromSoft, can you make a Bloodborne game for us?" And they were like, "Well, not really, but
no,
we can." we could try. we could dance around it.
The trailer was really cool, and it was very exciting to see. Basically, Bloodborne coming to the Switch too. It has been announced that it is not necessarily. It's not a single player game. It's a player versus player versus environment game, which makes me infinitely less excited, but still curious. I'm still very curious, and I would theoretically play it. I just have to see it. I don't really do PvP in those games, so that part does not specifically interest me. But if maybe the environment part is enough that it gets you by. Theoretically, I guess all of those games are PvE because somebody can invade you.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, that's been the thing for a while.
But other than that, if it's like focused on the PvP part, I would not like that. I'm not interested.
I thought it looked fine. I'm kind of Elden Ring's coming to Switch. That's an announcement people will be excited for.
Yeah, let's see Elden Ring. Let's see Nintendo's first. This will be a first for any Nintendo console, for any console where they announce a demake for their launch. Do you imagine?
Not true. Not true. The Switch announced Dark Souls, and whenever that finally came out, it technically it was titled Dark Souls Remastered, but it technically wasn't remastered like the PS4 and Xbox One versions. It was closer to the original PS3 version. So
Right,
it was
but
technically
I think Elden Ring would have to be downscaled.
not a remaster.
I think the Elden Ring would have to be downscaled.
Significantly, right?
The original Elden Ring would have to be downscaled to fit on the Switch. Like substantially, I would think.
Well, do we know how powerful the Switch 2 is though? Is it because like my only point of comparison is like the Steam Deck, which does run Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
So is it more or less powerful than the Steam Deck? I guess is my
I would
question.
think less. I would assume less powerful than the Steam Deck, significantly actually. I would guess. Like if you think about, so like one thing that with the Switch 2 was the size. Hey Tyler, by the way. Hey Tyler.
Hi.
They announced that the memory card was going up from, I think it was like 30 or something gigabytes on the Switch to like 240. Am I right? Gigabytes on the Switch 2, and they're high speed ones, which I don't know if that directly impacts anything, but I think that the games will be bigger and therefore probably more powerful and more like have more graphical fidelity, but I don't think they're going to be anywhere near like what a typical PC and therefore a Steam Deck type game would be.
Do you think it'll be like even on the same level as like the Series S? Or
No.
something?
No.
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 Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the third-party announcements didn't excite me because I could play them on my other consoles or on my Steam Deck. I guess if you're only a Nintendo fan, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what game announcement I see no one talking about at all? That fucking there's a sequel to, and I might play it because I didn't mind the first one. There's a sequel to that Daemon X Machina game that was announced. Who the fuck asked for that? Remember Daemon X Machina when that was announced by Nintendo, and they were like, that's when they announced those like big chunky like Pro Joy-Con things you could put on the sides of your Switch and like make them beefier. That's what like that was announced alongside, and there's a sequel to that coming, and I was like, did anybody play? Like, I played the first one, but like, did anybody else play that first one? I never heard anybody talk about it.
I must have been comatose when that announcement came out because I don't recall this at all. It went straight over.
The second one or the first one or both?
Both. I think when I see stuff like this, my brain just shuts down until it's over.
The first one was like the first couple of years of the Switch. Maybe it was like 3 years into the Switch, so it was like, when they were really building hype and like a lot of the big games were coming out and stuff. And I remember it's just kind of like Nintendo was like, it's coming, and then that was it. And then they announced like the chunky Pro controller things.
I like the idea
Sorry.
I like the idea that one of the both the Joy-Cons, I guess, can be mice. That's gonna make Metroid Prime a lot more interesting to me.
I like the idea.
Apparently, it works well, supposedly.
But what? Okay, but I have a question. In what situation are you going to use that?
Metroid Prime.
And yeah, but like, where are you playing? At your desk?
Yeah, I'm playing it docked.
At your desk?
I have a table I could use. I could use the side thing.
I'm not. That's already too much. That's already too. You're asking me to awkwardly use a mouse, like if I'm like at home on my couch or something, to like awkwardly find a way to use this mouse. No, you're already asking too much.
You don't have like a side table?
I'm not doing that.
I
do, but like I don't want to be like, oh no, hold on, I gotta set up my side table so I can play Metroid Prime 4 on the mouse controls.
No. I got this great setup.
No. I'll just use the fucking stick. I'll just use the damn stick.
My gaming setup is legit. I got a Lazy Boy chair. I got my big ass TV in front of me, and I got this side table where I put drinks or whatever. But it's like it's arm's reach. I can be like this.
Oh, okay.
And just play like that. And I might pull it forward.
It just seems like that idea of the mouse thing is cool, and I like seeing them like they showed it for like Civilization or whatever, and I was like, that's a cool idea to have games that use actually could benefit from that. But it's just like the situational nature of it is so weird to me. It's like I don't know in what situation would I be like, okay, gotta break out the mouse and set it up. It's like that seems like I wouldn't use it that much. It's neat.
Yeah.
And like they had I forgot which game it was they showed, but they had a game where like oh no, it was Mario Party. It was like where they're doing extra stuff for Jamboree. It was like they had a game where like all 4 players were using mice to like shoot things. And I was like, how are you gonna set that up for 4 people? Like everyone gather around the coffee table. We're gonna we're gonna shoot targets in Mario Party. No. No. Nintendo, no. Bad.
Bad Nintendo.
Smack him with a newspaper.
Nintendo has like, you can tell that they have like a dream when they do these consoles. They have like a dream, like what if this was possible? And I respect them for it. But they also put it in the advertising.
Wii U thing. Yeah, it's the Wii U thing all over because the Wii U had scenarios where it's like, what if the gamepad was on the floor and you were golfing with a Wiimote, and and also you had, it's like, no one's playing like that.
They have this like idyllic dream of like what the gamers would be, and it's like a family that sits around a little table, and they got the thing, the Switch propped up, and then everybody, the 4, nuclear 4 family is playing around it and getting excited, and they're all moving the little Joy-Cons. In reality, the only person playing that thing is the 40-year-old man who's just beating the shit out of his kids, and he's drunk, and he ain't playing though on the table. He's pissed off because he just got ripped off, and he's like fucking angry, and he wants to do this, and he doesn't give 2 shits about playing with those kids. He would be pissed off if those kids were touching his controllers because they probably got dirty fucking hands, and he's gonna have to go wash them with. Yeah. That Nintendo's idea is so unrealistic of what they expect out of these gamers.
All right, Tyler says, "Is it getting any Street Fighters?" Yeah, they announced Street Fighter 6 is coming with Amiibo. That was weird. James Bond game. Yeah, they finally. Okay, they didn't show anything. They just said that the Project 007 is coming. I wish, for the love of God, they would show something about this fucking game. I'm tired of just knowing it's coming and them not being like, we're working on it. I want to see it. I want to see what it is.
Yeah, Tyler loves James Bond.
Bond game by the Hitman folks. That sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we talked about it. I know he and I talked about this on the episode of Hey Geeks and Gamers he was on.
I wonder how.
Yeah,
I wonder how hard Tyler came when they announced that. Like if it was like a spurt, or if he shot like hit the wall.
We already knew it was coming. We already knew this was coming. It's just they announced it's coming to Switch 2. But
yeah. Well, now he gets to play it on the go.
A James Bond game by the makers of the Hitman games sounds incredible, and I just want to see it. I just want to see what it is. You know what I mean? Because that sounds like it would be a great game. You could play it at a table at Arby's. I'm too busy eating at a table at Arby's to play Metroid Prime 4.
You get your hands all greasy, and then you're touching the Switch controller.
Yeah, I got the fucking grease from the roast beef and the Arby's sauce and stuff all over my hands. And I'm not touching my Switch.
Roast beef. I don't know if people know this, but roast beef will mess up magnets. It undoes the ionic power of the magnets, and now your Switch 2 will lose its clickableness.
No, so I could fuck up my Switch by eating a roast beef sandwich. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Specifically Arby's roast beef. Something in their meat can. There's something in the meat can that messes up the magnets. It's weird. Scientists are still working on it. They don't know.
We have the meats. Tyler said he came fast. So there you go.
Came fast and fucking hard. I like that. There you go.
Hard. They're talking about James Bond now. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of what else really excited me. You know what was weird? They showed off that game that was like the game tour thing where you can walk around the inside of the Switch and stuff. I thought, like, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, cute. Like, they're doing the Astrobot thing. Like, they're doing a little pack-in that teaches you, like, how the console works, kind of like the PS5 did. No, that's a paid game.
Yeah.
Like, you're paying for tech demo to show you how your console works. No one's gonna buy that.
You know, it's sick, but I know exactly what that comes from. How angry do you think Nintendo was when Wii Sports ended up being like the biggest game of all time? And they're
I
like,
don't know because
they're like, we fucking packed it in.
I don't think that's it. I think it's the opposite. I think it's Nintendo Land. Because Nintendo Land was a pack-in and nobody cared. It's a good game, but nobody fucking cared. So I think they just refuse to do pack-ins now because even on the Switch they had that 1-2 Switch game, which should have been a pack-in, right?
Mhm.
And then that was a standalone product when it launched, and it was like, who wants to buy that? You know?
Yeah.
I think it's, and someone's gonna buy it because there's like not gonna be much out, you know, at the launch.
So this thing says that day one. Wait. Is this right? What I'm seeing? Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Zelda, something, Welcome Tour, and Metroid Prime. Are those supposed to be launch? Or no,
Wait, it's Prime 4.
That's Treehouse Live. Okay, so that's a Treehouse where they just play the games, right?
I was like, God damn, if that was the launch lineup.
Woo! What I would suspect is that almost none of these games will come out launch, except for Welcome Tour is guaranteed to be launched.
I think they said Mario Kart and Donkey Kong are.
Okay. And then Welcome Tour.
But yeah, and yeah, sure.
So that's what they're gonna do is they're gonna have a very scarce release, and they're gonna be like, well, the only games we got is Welcome Tour.
That's what happened with the Switch. It was like when the Switch came out, they had Breath of the Wild, and 1-2 Switch. And then I think like Konami put out Bomberman. And I was like, that was it. Like that's what you could buy. And like Just Dance, probably, I think. But it's like those are your games.
One of them, Just Dance.
So really you had 2 games, Breath of the Wild and Bomberman. That was it. So yeah, but hey, even if just Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza are the 2 launch titles, that's pretty good, to be honest. I prefer the quality over quantity approach for Nintendo launches, because the ones that are just like quantity approach, like the Wii U and the 3DS, there's fucking nothing to play. There's like 11 launch titles, and they're all shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'd rather have just like 1 or 2 really great games at launch than like 11 whatever games you don't really want to play.
That Mario Kart is gonna sell fucking crazy. That's gonna.
I mean, 8 Deluxe already did. 8 Deluxe is like a crazy, and like that's a fucking Wii U game, and it sold like crazy.
Yeah.
On the Switch, so yeah,
that Mario Kart's gonna be big.
That to be fair, that bundle they're doing with it is pretty good, because it's like 500. It's like $450 for the console alone, or 500 with Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So you're already getting like a $30 discount on Mario Kart with the bundle. So yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Are they still talking about James Bond?
Everything or Nothing. It's similar to From Russia with Love. Yeah.
Those are all back there on that shelf. I have those. You're gonna pull them off the shelf, Spencer?
I think you should. I mean,
for old time's sake.
Yeah, it makes the show better when you do that.
Yeah. Hold on, we do a little shelf pull here. It's for old times, you know.
This is the part where Alex pulls games off his shelf and shows us that he has them. We're all really fascinated by it. Watch it. I'm gonna be so excited.
Here we have From Russia with Love.
No, whoa! I can't believe you have that.
Everything or Nothing.
He has Everything or Nothing. He has Everything and Nothing. Wow.
And
oh my god.
And here's Agent Under Fire.
Oh my god. Whoa.
There you go.
Holy shit. Oh, Alex. Oh, slow down.
I'll throw in a bonus for Spencer. This one's just for Spencer.
Just for me?
X-Men Legends.
Oh my god. It's unrelated, but it's fantastic. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my god. Holy.
There you go. There was the shelf pull.
I can't
of the live stream.
I can't take any more. That is too impressive.
I think every time we do a live stream, I should do a shelf pull.
Yeah, we'll get like some graphics kicked up, and we'll nail a shelf pull.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
shelf
and
pull.
now,
Time for the
Alex
shelf
is
pull.
doing a shelf pull.
And I
GameCube
just start running out of
edition.
games. Here's Billy Hatcher, the giant egg.
Yeah, I think we could find a way to do an even lazier like pickups video, because the pickups videos are just like the epitome of like lazy. But we can up the ante of you just pulling games that are already on your shelf and just be like, this is Billy Hatcher. It's okay. This is Mario Sunshine, a good one. This is a gem.
Speaking of GameCube, they did announce, and I guess they used the entire CG budget for this. Kirby's Air Riders, which is a weird one because it's a sequel to Kirby Air Ride.
Yeah.
So they didn't show anything, but they just had a long CG cuts like trailer, and I'm like, is Sakurai the only person allowed to have long CG trailers at Nintendo? Because he seems to be.
Yeah, it's like
all other Nintendo trailers are like, they'll have like in-game cutscenes and stuff, or like stuff from like the game itself, but all the Sakurai stuff, like Smash and now this, it's all like CG, really pretty, like animated trailers. And I'm like, I think he just takes all the budget for that.
yeah, I don't think they have a game at all, and they're just like, well, theoretically, he'll probably come out with it, so let's just do a trailer. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, people
Sakurai had the idea like
did the first
like 3 days ago. Where was there? What
did the first Kirby Air Riders or Air Rider whatever sell well?
I don't know if it did. It's a good game. Like I think it's pretty good. I don't know if how well it sold, but it's like it has a lot of the Sakurai isms in it. It's very strange playing it. I've had this game since I was like a teenager, and I still feel weird playing it because the menus are basically like Smash Brothers menus.
Okay.
Like, and they even do the thing that Brawl would do later, that like you would get like in Smash Brothers Brawl they had that like big wall of accomplishments, right? And whenever you like did something, it would finally break open and you would get like a prize for it. That started in Kirby's Air Ride. So it was like, in Kirby's Air Ride, it was like, oh, you glided for 5,000 meters. Bam! Open a block and you won so like you're always working on like unlocking things.
Okay.
But like it's so weird to think of like this weird step in Sakurai's like evolution of development, and like Kirby Air Ride is in there. I never played the other one he did. What was it? Kid Icarus. I never played Kid Icarus. I don't know how much that one has like his DNA in it. But it is bizarre to play Kirby Air Ride because a lot of it's like Smash Brothers.
Kirby's Air Ride got a player's choice release, so it sold good.
Propaganda. That's all propaganda. I'm telling you, man, I don't trust any of those old like player's choice boxes, because I think a lot of them are just excuses for them to like re-release games. I'd be like, oh, it's a player's choice, or it's the platinum hits, it's the greatest hits. I think I never trusted that shit. I think Sonic 06 got platinum hits on Xbox 360.
Player's Choice.
Player's
Choice was a marketing label used by Nintendo to indicate that certain games had sold well and were reprinted at a lower price point. On the GameCube, this label was applied to games that achieved a significant number of sales, typically 1 million copies, although this threshold was later reduced to 250,000 copies.
Yeah, see, so that could have been. See, it's a marketing stunt, man. That's all it is. They were like, nah, it sold 250. Let's get it back out there.
Sold okay. Player's Choice.
Because later on, they just did they still call them Player's Choice? Oh no, they called them Nintendo Selects, right? When
Correct.
They redid them for like the later consoles. Because then it was just like, oh, we're just putting out Tropical Freeze again, I guess. It was just like whatever they felt like putting out that day.
Yeah.
Kid Icarus Uprising is basically Star Fox with a lot of talking. Star Fox already has lots of talking.
Maybe he means like cutscenes that interrupt the gameplay or something.
Like actual like meaningful dialogue and not like the little quips in Star Fox where they're like, yeah. They just say the little things. Yeah, I never played it. Maybe I will sometime. I just never picked it up. It looked cool, but also like I know I have to play it on a 3DS. If they ever re-release that with like dual analog stick support on like a Switch or something, I'd play it.
HDR, yeah.
Yeah, they like because like I know if I play it on the fucking 3DS, I'm gonna have to like awkwardly crab claw that thing to play it. To like have one hand on a fucking stylus on the touchscreen.
I saw this guy's review. Like he's like, I got to play with the Switch too. Here's my thought. Stupid shit. And his big complaint was that it didn't have OLED like the newer Switch models do. Like the Switch OLED has an OLED screen. He's like, it doesn't. My only thing is it doesn't have OLED, so the darks don't look as dark. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, who the fuck gives a shit about that? Like, my darks aren't so dark. Like, oh
dude,
my god.
I've used the Switch OLED and the Steam Deck OLED. I don't have either one though, and I can say like the screens are nicer, but not to a noticeable degree. Like not to like whenever you're like, I went back to my old Switch or my old Steam Deck and was like, fuck, can't use this anymore. I just, it's just like, yeah, I could tell it was like slightly brighter looking, or like
I
whatever.
Cannot tell the difference, and I do not give a shit. Like if
No,
I was worried about playing a high high quality fidelity looking game, I wouldn't be playing the Switch. If that were my concern, I'm here to play Mario and Kirby and shit like that. I do not care.
That's true. If they announced like, okay, you can get the Switch 2 OLED for $450 or the Switch or just the standard one for $400, right? Mm-hmm. I'd go with the standard one. I wouldn't care about the OLED.
100%.
I wouldn't be like, whatever. I'll save my $50. But speaking of Kirby, I am pretty excited. You know how they announced the stupid little Switch 2 updates to games. Most of them are whatever, like old Zelda, you can use your phone to navigate the world or whatever. The Kirby one, I'm actually excited for the Kirby and the Forgotten World update because they're adding more game. They're just making more game, which is very exciting. I want to see what they add.
You think
I like that game a lot.
You think they would have forgotten about that game?
There you
go. Hey, I forgot about that one.
That was a good game. I've gone back to it a few times since we did the episode on it.
Mm-hmm.
And playing around. I haven't like fully beaten it again, but I've gone back and like tried to like get all of the little Waddle Dees and stuff in the levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to see what they could do with just making like a expansion for it,
Sure.
So. Hopefully it's not just like reused environments or something. that would piss me off.
Yeah. I remember when Chrono Trigger got the DS remake, and they're like, it's got like a whole new like last chapter. And of course, Chrono Trigger fans are all excited. And then it came out, and it's just like reused assets from the game where you just walk around and the pacing is all off, and it's just all the magic just quickly drains from your fingers. You're like, this fucking sucks. So sometimes it's interesting. It's like seeing how lazy they might be if they're like new content and it's literally, oh, I've played this level before, but now there's like a different enemy in it. It's like, oh, great.
I don't think they could get away with it. Did you ever fully beat that game? Because there's like a hidden world.
Oh, and
it already. Yeah.
No, I didn't. I guess I beat the game.
There is.
See that.
there's like a hidden world of like levels, and those levels already reuse the assets of the previous worlds.
Oh, that
So
sucks.
I don't think they could. Yeah, I don't think they could get away with it if they just made this and was like it's just the same assets again. I don't think they could do it. People would be pissed.
That's so fucking lazy. It's so like insulting to your intelligence to do that kind of thing where they're like, it's a new level, but we didn't want to build it, so it's just like it's like the other level that you already played. But it's new.
It made sense. It made sense for the base game because they like had you on this like path through like different like inverted worlds. So I guess they were like trying to be like, oh, it's like the previous stages but harder now, you know. And like it made sense for that because it's bonus content in the main game. I'm fine with that. But if I'm actively paying $30
Mhm.
to like upgrade to the Switch 2 version, like I'm gonna want substantial content.
Yep. Oh, so it's not it's like a completely new release. Is that it's like a brand new um Switch 2 version of it? It's not like a DLC or anything.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
bummer.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it
You
again.
didn't see what the so the Switch 2 things is like you can buy the Switch 2 versions, the Switch 2 enhanced versions of certain games now.
Oh, okay.
And if you already own them, you can pay like $30 and upgrade to the Switch 2 versions.
Okay. That's not so
So
bad.
so like the ones they announced I know were Kirby and the Forgotten World, Mario Party Jamboree is getting stuff.
Oh,
And
good.
then both yeah, oh great. Both of the Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But they're not getting anything. Here's what you get whenever you upgrade. This is from like what I understood. You get access to app for your cell phone that acts as a GPS in the world. It'll tell you things, so it'll track you when you're going around, and you'll be like, okay, I want to go to the whatever place, and then it'll be like go left here, go keep going. It's like you know, and it's like stupid shit. It's like that's the most like oh yeah, and you get access to Zelda notes, which is like some sort of a social media thing. I don't care. It's not adding anything to those games. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. I get wanting to have Switch 2 versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom ready to go because those are huge games. But my God, I'm not. You give me no reason to pay the $30 to actually do anything.
Yeah, that's horrendous. Man, what a goof.
Oh yeah, Pokemon A to Z is coming to it, dude, or Z to A, or whatever the fuck it's
So
called.
is that one have like
That game looks terrible.
action-based battles? Is that what I'm to understand? With
It's
that?
like, yeah, it's. I believe so. I'm not interested in that game.
Me
It
neither.
looks awful.
Not
It looks
gonna get
bad.
it. Yeah, not into it.
Like not only does it look bad, but it also just looks bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God.
Pokemon
Like or Z to A. Is it Z to A or
Z to A? I
is
guess. Yeah.
It's Z to A.
Because it's supposed to be after X and Y or something, right?
So from what I understand, I haven't played Arceus, but from what I understand in Arceus, whenever you like climb, you have a Pokemon help you climb, right? And stuff, and it's like you have like some sort of traversal with the Pokemon.
Yeah, with
and
the other
this
one, too, but yeah.
And this one, like, not only does it just looks cheap, like the buildings look flat and the game just looks like not finished, but also like I just saw the thing like there's a things where you just teleport to the top of the rooftops. If you want to get to the rooftops, you just stand on a thing and it teleports you up. And I'm like, you're telling me like a Pokemon couldn't help you get up there or something? You telling me like you couldn't have Charmander help you, or Charizard help you up there or something? you gotta just fucking tell that. No, that's lazy as fuck.
Yeah, it's already very lazy.
You have a Yeah, you have over 1,000 Pokemon, and one of them fuckers can't help you to the top of that roof.
Yeah, this looks terrible. This looks just awful.
I I don't understand how that franchise makes so much money, and Nintendo has a stake in Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, and they can continuously still put just the minimum amount of effort into this shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Horrendous.
it's baffling. It's baffling.
Yeah, I'll pass on this one. No good. Pokemon Legends Z to A.
Like, I don't know this. I don't know the they're like how much of a stake Nintendo has in Pokemon, but I know they don't completely own it. If I was Nintendo and I had all this money from the Switch and the Mario movie and whatever their deals with Universal, I would just buy out whatever they need to buy out to own Pokemon, because the quality control is horrendous over there, and I don't think Nintendo can do anything about it.
Yeah.
Whatever their current situation is, because I know damn well Nintendo would not just teleport you to a top of a roof.
Yeah, I feel
They
like
would-
I feel like the Pokemon Company or whatever they're called is like Elon Musk, and Nintendo is Donald Trump, and Elon and Nintendo's like, we're gonna release Z to A and it's gonna be shit. And he's like, okay, sounds good. And then it just comes out and it's just Travis. Somehow it makes money.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the sad part, is that like they're never going to learn their lesson, because this is going to come out, it's going to sell millions of copies, and then they're just going to keep going.
It's unfortunate because they like Pokemon was such a big deal in the late 90s, and it still is, but the point is it was a big deal in the late 90s, and it hit like the gamer movement is like forever intrinsically attached to it. And now all those gamers that have grown up with it like will not let it go, because it is their childhood. So they will not buy this game. And they can literally release nothing. Like, I mean, this. They can release this garbage, and it's
After
like, we have to buy it because it's our childhood.
the last Pokemon game I bought was that remake of Pearl, and I was so appalled by that I just will not. I haven't found it in me to buy any more Pokemon games. You know what I mean? I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I've been at the store. I've held a copy of like Scarlet before and been like, maybe, and then I've been like, no, I better not. Put it down.
I think what I'm always looking for with Pokemon is to recapture how Red and Blue and maybe Gold and Silver made me feel. And it's like, maybe this one will recapture it, but they're not making that anymore. Like, those games are basically Dragon Quest, and the games they're making now are, I'm not sure what they are. They're barely games. They're like, yeah, I don't even really know what they are anymore, but they're not that. So it's really pointless to keep trying.
Yeah. And you know what, Spencer? Say what you want about the current Digimon games and like Cyber Sleuth and stuff, but like I think they're fun, and I'm excited for that one they showed off during the PlayStation one, the like Time Stranger game, like Cyber Story Time Stranger. I'm excited for that, and it looks cool. And like, you know, and that for me, if like if I want to buy something that's going to scratch that like monster taming itch, like that's probably what I'll end up getting. So.
Yeah, I mean, or you could just play Persona.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what I mean. Yeah. Well, yeah, Persona technically in like SMT technically are monster tamers, yeah, but like it's different. You know what I mean? It's like not the it's not the same as a Pokemon or as a Digimon. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Digimon Cyber Sleuth was very.
It's better. Yes, I loved SMT4 is probably. Yeah, but it was still like it was Persona, like, but like still geared towards that Pokemon market. You know what I mean? Like that, like Pokemon demographic. It wasn't geared towards like a Persona demographic. I think so.
The characters are very sexualized.
Well, okay. It was geared towards the market of the people that grew up with
Yes,
Digimon.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's what I mean. It's geared because like that's what's different about Pokemon Digimon right now is that Pokemon just doesn't know who it's for. Digimon is for the people that just kind of have been with it, and so like they're all adults now, so all the games that come out are more mature than
I agree with that.
what was happening.
Yeah.
No, but I do agree with you. I mean, SMT4 is probably my favorite Monster Tamer I've ever played. I need to play some more Apocalypse. I played like 10 hours of Apocalypse and then never went back to it.
Did you ever consider?
I liked it.
Did you ever consider 5?
I don't have it yet. I've just been waiting for a good time to
Okay.
get it and play it.
It's definitely the best gameplay wise by far. The story is. I'm not sure, but the I don't play those for story anyway.
I have the remaster of 3 like twice, and I've still I still have yet to play it, like the remaster of Nocturne.
3 is good, but it's got like a PS2 jank to it that is hard to overcome. It's just not smoothed out. But what I liked about 3 was that all the boss fights were very like puzzle based. Whereas specifically 5, it's more like when you know what to do, you just do it. But 3 was all the boss fights were very like there's a pattern, you have to figure it out. It doesn't really matter what your stats are. You just have to figure out the pattern. I don't know if I like that for a JRPG, but it made it interesting at least. It was different. So
4 was sort of similar, right?
I didn't beat 4, so I can't. You can speak to it more than I can.
You didn't beat 4? I beat an SMT game. You haven't?
Sure, yeah. Well, that's why you did it. I didn't.
Yes!
I didn't do the episode. I was like, I
That's right. That's right. I just thought you didn't want to. I just thought you didn't have interest in it.
I kind of just didn't have interest in beating 4, just because I played 5, I played 3, and I played all the Persona games. I'm like, do I need to do this one? And I like it. It's fine, but it's just a lot of time to basically do a game that I've done 50 times over. It's like, I have nothing to add to this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tyler says, "Sexy Digimon."
Look them up. We did a whole episode on it.
We did that episode.
Yeah, you can see them.
Yeah.
There are some sexy Digimon, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't know, man. What are you gonna talk about? We're talking about
just life. Life and
yeah, dude.
What the fuck, That's kind of my deal.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
What the fuck,
Yeah,
fucking, like shit.
What have you been playing? Anything good? You been playing anything?
I've been playing Enshrouded, which we just finished what we were gonna do with that. Hilariously, yeah, last night. 33 Immortals, which is a fascinating game. It's imagine a cross between Hades and World of Warcraft Dungeons. And you got 33 Immortals. It's very interesting.
Oh wait, I think I saw that on something. Was that on the PlayStation thing? Or
it's on Game Pass, so that's why I'm playing it.
Okay, maybe that's where I saw it. I remember seeing something like that. About that game.
Yeah,
like during one of those like digital events. Maybe it was during like the Xbox event or something. I don't
know. Good time. I'm nearing the end. I'm like over the 2/3 mark on Metaphor. That game took a turn that reminds me a lot of. I guess spoiler alert, but for a game that I don't think most people have beaten anyway. But it reminds me of Etrian Odyssey 1. So.
Did you say near? Nearing? That's the only thing I picked up.
Did you say Nier Automata? I feel like
What did you say?
and then I'm dipping back into Baldur's Gate pretty heavily. So I've got you, and then me and JD are starting it on Monday, our 2-man run. So I'll be pretty entrenched in Baldur's Gate. We're gonna try to beat it with 2 characters.
Are you doing like the permadeath or something? Is there permadeath in that one? Do you have a permadeath mode?
It's called honor mode. I don't know if I mean, it's kind of permadeath, but I think it's just like you can't. You're kind of like you can't save it all the time. I think it's something weird, but in
like
a way,
saves come in.
Yeah, in a way, it's like permadeath. In a way, I don't know because I'm not going to do that. But no, we beat it on the harder difficulty. I can't remember what it's called, but we beat it but not with 2 characters. I think we're going to do regular mode with 2 characters and just see if it's doable. I'm going to be a bard, and he's going to be a barbarian, and we're just going to try to tear our way through it.
A barbarian.
Yeah, the barbarian combo.
Nice. Yeah, I've been playing that. Still enjoying it. I'm sticking with that one. That's why I'm probably not going to play any more RPGs at the moment because, like, we picked a good time to do the Mario RPG episode because, like, directly after that, I was like, okay, buying Baldur's Gate 3. So that's sort of been where I am. Great game. I did go back. I'm still learning. I don't know anything about D&D or it, so like I'm still picking up a lot of that stuff. I did go back and get some of the stuff I missed from the opening area because I'm just about to leave that like opening area.
Yeah.
So I've just started adventuring around and finding other stuff before I go. So I've been doing that. I was doing that yesterday. What else have I been playing?
You should be level 5 when you leave the starting area. The first act.
Okay. I haven't started playing it yet, but I do have Split Fiction ready to go, and I'm ready to play that. I have to play it with other people. You know, that's one of those games you have to play co-op.
Yeah, I'd play it with you. I saw a thing on it. It looked kind of cool.
Yeah. And you could just download that Friends Pass and you can play it, which is cool. It's so weird that like EA publishes that developers games because that is such a not EA thing to do.
Yeah, it's like give the game away to somebody. What are you talking about?
What? But I really liked their other games. I really liked Brothers and A Way Out and It Takes Two. I thought they were all really good games. That team is way too talented to work for EA. So yeah, I'm scared of what's going to happen to that developer because I know how EA treats their developers.
Yeah. I think
just watch one of their games not succeed, you know, then it's going to be all in the can.
Yeah. Please play this game because if they don't, they're all fired.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, though, that's what's going to happen if they put out whatever the game, because this one's doing well. But whatever the game is after Split Fiction, if they put out another game and it doesn't succeed, even though they've had previous successes, EA is going to be like, okay, disband them, put them in different teams, we fucking close down the studio.
Yeah.
That's going to be like exactly what they do.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
The producer of Split Fiction, we're proud to announce that they're now working on the outfits for Madden.
Yeah.
It's always been, and they'll make like an announcement on their X account. It's always been my passion to work on the uniforms on Madden. I don't know why everybody's upset. This is what I've always wanted to do with my career. So that's great.
Look, there's one that references Split Fiction. Just cries a little bit.
Yeah.
I think like what else? I haven't really been playing that much else. I played a little bit of a Warhammer game on my Xbox, but I didn't get into it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Get off my back, Spencer. It was the fuck was it called? Bought it for like super cheap. Anyway, it was basically an ARPG, and it's like not Diablo. It was fun. I was having fun with it. I don't know if it's one I'll see through, but I was fucking around with it. But yeah, it's basically been Baldur's Gate. So, yeah.
Warhammer's weird. It's like
I know.
D&D on steroids.
I like it, but like I also like can't say I'm a fan because I'm not going near the tabletop stuff, you know?
I don't like Warhammer. I think it's like when a nerd gets their hands on an IP and they miss the mark of what makes it good. And then they run with that. They're like, you know what people really like in D&D? And you go, what? And they go, stats. And it's like, no. What makes what's good about D&D is the ability to create fantasy in your brain. Like to create those moments of fantasy, but somehow make it playable. That's what's good about D&D. The simpler it is, the better. Because it gives you more opportunity to more people to enjoy it and stuff. But their idea was, no, we like all the stats, so let's put more of them in. And they're so bloated and so complicated. I think Warhammer just completely misses the mark on what makes those games good. And I think that's why they're so niche.
But I like the world though. That's what gets me so interested. Is like I like the world and stuff they build around all of that. Like they could do more with it, you know. And
they do plenty.
Like
they do plenty.
That's good. That's what's got me interested in like playing some of the games because yeah, like the world's just interesting and I'm honestly surprised there hasn't been that seems like a series that's ripe for like not like something big, but for like an Amazon Prime show, you know, or something. That seems like something ripe for that, and it's weird that like there hasn't been that yet. we haven't taken that step.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, speaking of which, to the shock and surprise of absolutely nobody, the Jack Black Minecraft movie is apparently stupid. Big announcement.
Like the reviews are in and it sucks.
Yeah. Not like sucks, but like I believe like the pre-release reviews, like one of the critics was literally like, "It's stupid. It's really stupid." So I'm interested in watching it now.
He's getting paid those big bucks to make that kind of review. That kind of
oh, dude,
statement.
I love. Have you seen that fucking toy? Have you seen the Jack Black toy?
No.
Look up the Minecraft Steve movie toy. It looks like something out of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I swear to God.
Oh my God.
That looks like something straight out of Aqua Teen Hunger Force that like Meatwad would play with, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a fucking realistic Jack Black.
How is this so bad?
That's amazing.
Like this.
I might buy one of those just to have it because that's too funny. That's too funny.
Yeah, I would buy this. This toy. I was talking about Warhammer missing the mark. This toy so outrageously, egregiously misses the mark on every front. It's actually incredible.
Yeah, what kid is going to be at the store with their parents and be walking down the toy aisle and see all the other cool fucking race cars and dinosaurs and whatever, even other things from Minecraft, and be like, no, I want fat middle-aged man.
Yeah. Like, first of all, the joints. Let's talk about these joints real quick. We had better joints than this in the 90s, like where you actually like blend them into the body. Like, look at his elbows; they're an affront to humanity. Second, if I remember correctly, Minecraft is like blocky characters. Wouldn't you just try to? I know the movie is 3D, but like, look at the sword. Like, why are you making like a true to life Jack Black figure? No kid wants to play with that.
I don't know. It's such a weird. The branding for this movie is so bizarre, and it's like and also the premise. Let's just talk about I haven't watched this. So I don't know the full story, but let's just talk about the premise. Are we really doing the people go into a thing premise? Is this really where we're going with this? Is this really what we're doing? Like, yeah, that hasn't been done enough times. Like the group of people enter a video game world idea. Like,
Yeah,
are you
like
fucking
Jumanji
kidding
or
me?
whatever. Jumanji 8.
Yeah, like why can't we just do why couldn't you just make a movie and it is Minecraft? You know what I mean? Like it just is a movie in Minecraft. Like why do you need to like put these humans into the Minecraft world and be like, "Oh my god, we're in Minecraft."
Yeah. No, I'll tell you why. It's because they keep getting these directors with these visions. Like they're always like, we need a director
Yeah.
with a vision. That's the new thing. And it's I think Hollywood has forgotten, and they're learning this lesson painfully because every movie they release now is a disaster. But they should be learning that people don't want a vision. Like they just want the thing that is the movie. You know? Like it's always like, okay, let's make a Minecraft movie. Okay. Here we got this cool director. He's like, what if it's people from the real world and their reflection of what Minecraft is to the outside world, but in the movie? It's like, no. Like, let's find a director. Let's find somebody who doesn't give a shit about that. Let's get, you know who is good at this shit? Let's get Michael Bay to make a Minecraft movie. He'll make it dumb and it'll be in Minecraft, but that's what people want. Like it's Minecraft. This isn't supposed to be like some metaphysical exploration of the no. People just want to see blocks and they want to see people making shit with the blocks.
Last year, as bad as it was, at least that Borderlands movie was just a Borderlands movie.
Yeah.
Like it was just the characters in Borderlands in a movie. It was bad and poorly directed and probably shouldn't exist, but yeah, it was just Borderlands the movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
no more I declare as king of all media, I declare movies with meaning over. No more. Make the
king
movie.
Of all media.
Yes.
Can you change your Discord stuff to be king of all media?
If I can, yeah, I will. Because as the new king of all media, I declare that movies that have to mean something are done. Make the movie fun and make it cool.
You did you play Monster Hunter Wilds or whatever?
I played the demo. Yeah.
Okay, well, you get it. This movie reminds me of the Monster Hunter one that came out, the Monster Hunter movie, because it was by whatever the fuck his name is, the guy that did the Resident Evil movies that were all shit.
Yeah,
and it was like starring fucking Mia, whatever, the same lady, because his wife. Yeah, and that movie was literally like, okay, what if a soldier from the real world went into Monster Hunter world?
Yeah,
and it's like that one baffled me the most because I was like, you're telling me like this game that's about hunting monsters in this fantasy world, like you can't just tell a story with that. You have to like have a human from the people world go into there.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's a movie about it's a game about hunting monsters. You can literally make it about a village that is being plagued by these monsters, and then a group of hunters hunts them. That's all you got to do. That's the Monster Hunter movie.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
Like you have the setup, you have what people want to see, which is hunting monsters. Why complicate it? Why make this so difficult? I'm just so baffled by people in Hollywood who just do not get it at all. And this is just a prime example. This is just a perfect example of this. Like what a shit show.
I really want to find that Jack Black doll. I hope I can go like Walmart and find one because that's amazing.
Let's do it. Let's both get this doll.
Let's both get Jack Black. Yeah, wait, and we'll put him behind us somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can go. Okay, I'm gonna go by Walmart and see if I can find one.
This doll is like nightmare fuel. I think I will be seeing this in my dream tonight.
It's so awesome. It's like so bad it becomes just like the best thing I've ever seen. Like I never believed that would be a product
Yeah.
that I could buy.
Does his
Uh,
bag look like this in the movie? He
I don't
looks
know. I haven't seen the
gay.
movie.
Like,
Does he have a gay bag? Why is he doing this? Why is Jack Black even do it? I mean, money, obviously, but it's like Jack Black does things every once in a while that I'm like, do you know what you're signing up for? And part of me wants to say no, he doesn't, because like I remember like a few years ago he did the fuck is it? He did Gulliver's Travels,
yeah.
and that movie bombed hard. It's like it was like Jack Black's in Gulliver's Travels, and I was like, did he know? Did he know? Like,
Movies just don't do that great these days. Again,
oh, Snow White's got like a 1 something on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
I think again, just these people are trying to make movies that mean something, and we need to be moving out of that. That phase is done.
Let me tell you a little something about Snow White. Let me tell you a little something about Snow White. So they were afraid of offending people if they if they cast the role of the dwarfs with actual midgets, which again there's plenty of little people that would love to work, so they CG'd all of the 7 dwarves into the fucking Snow White movie, the live action Snow White movie, which apparently looks horrible. I haven't seen it, but apparently it's just atrocious.
Yeah. A couple things on this one. The actress playing Snow White,
Hideous. She does not look good. Not look like Snow White.
And all due respect,
I get it.
All due respect, it looks like her parents drank a lot while she was in the womb, because her eyes are very, very far apart.
I think it's on purpose. I think they cast her on purpose though, because like also from what I know, the thing in the Snow White where she like bakes the pie and the dwarf. No, apparently she doesn't do that anymore. She's girl boss. Girl boss don't bake pies, Spencer.
True.
So I take it. I think they cast a girl that was, she's not a bad looking girl, but she's not Snow White. I think they just kind of casted the most plain looking girl they could find.
No. Here's what they did is she's Hispanic. And see, I disagree with that. I feel like that's going halfway. Because it's like Snow White, you think she's a white chick, because in the original she was white and she was hot. And then now they're like, okay, what if Snow White is Hispanic? They only went like 0.5. She needs to be black. Like they need to go all the way and be like,
they already did that.
White
they already did that with the Little Mermaid.
No. But it makes more sense on this one because her name is Snow White. It's like, what if Snow White was black? And she's like, bitch, I ain't fucking around with no dwarves.
Bitch, I ain't baking no pie.
I ain't baking no pie. And she's got like, she's sassy. Like that is a Snow White that I think they should have made. And I just made a big tirade about how people like have a message. This message I would get behind, which is like, what if Snow White was black and she ain't taking none of this shit? Like that's the movie that I want to see.
Taking no shit.
Yeah. And they're like, hi ho, it's off to work we go. She's like, I ain't working. I ain't doing none of this shit.
Fuck that.
My ancestors work for free. I ain't doing any of that. Like that, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like that is sick. That's a movie I want to see.
It's true. It always feels like with these newer projects, like the live action projects at least, Disney's like, we want to spread a certain message, but then they don't even do it. You know what I mean? They take a half step. They like dip their toes in. They're like, ooh, that water's kind of cold. and then they pull their foot back.
Ooh, I don't know. You know who the real hero here is Peter Dinklage, who wanted to secure his spot as the #1 like dwarf actor of all time, and he's just pushing everybody else down. He's like, you know what? I don't think there should be dwarves in this movie. And they're like, but Peter, Peter, it's called the Seven
Yeah,
Dwarfs.
that's crazy to me because you know for sure that there are plenty of actors that are little people that would love to be in this fucking movie,
Yeah.
to be in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They would love it. It would make their life.
How is it offensive if dwarves exist?
I know, it's like that's so funny to me where they're like, you can't say dwarf, you have to say little people. Okay, but like they are dwarves. Like that's literally before that used to be the scientific
I
term
know.
for what they are.
To me, this approach of CGing them is more offensive because you're
100%.
making dwarves because now dwarves are like cryptids. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like these weird things that live out in the fucking forests, and it's like you're just alienating people even farther.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to hire little people for this movie, but we found their appearance so offensive that we just decided to do it with computers. It's like, thanks, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Lord, man. God damn.
Disney is so fucked. That whole thing is just so bizarre. This movie and many others. There were many other movies that followed. My girlfriend, she saw The Little Mermaid in the theater. She fell asleep, and she loves seeing movies. She loves. Seeing
I
movies.
stopped watching these live action ones when they did Mulan.
Okay.
Because like the entire point of Mulan was like, she like pulled herself up by her bootstraps and got in there, and did what she had to do for her family. And it's like, yeah, even though she's a woman, she could do it. No, like the first opening minutes of the live action Mulan is literally like she was born with a gift. And I was like, you just ruined the entire fucking message of the movie. The entire message was like she could do it no matter, it's like
she
you
overcame.
can do it if you just believe in yourself. Yeah. But no, you're fucking gonna open the live action one with like she was born special.
Well, all women in movies
Fuck
now.
that.
All women now in movies now are Mary Sue's, where they're like, they're unbeatable. Like they literally cannot. You cannot show a woman have any weakness at all, which completely ruins the point of a character overcoming any challenge or obstacle.
Yeah, which is like the entire point of Mulan. That's the entire story of Mulan, which is why it's great. It's why it's a great story.
Yeah, you're like rooting for the character, and it makes you root for the character when they overcome something that they had a hard time doing. And then nowadays they're like, oh, the character doesn't struggle at all. We can't show them struggling. It's like, okay, well then there's no movie. You don't overcome anything. Yeah. And so it's just shit.
And that's like my favorite 90s Disney movie. So after they fucked up Mulan, I was like, all right, I'm not watching any more of these. And I haven't.
Luckily, my favorite was Beauty and the Beast, and their live action wasn't terrible.
That one was okay. That was like one of the first ones they did, right?
I
like
think
that
so.
one was fine. It had Emma Watson, right? And,
yeah.
It was. I don't remember loving it, but I remember watching it and being like, yeah,
it was fine.
Like, yeah, this is. Yeah,
it wasn't okay. Great. It wasn't terrible. It was a movie, and you kind of moved on. There was a time when that was a thing. It's like this movie is just a movie, and it's not great. It's not bad. Nowadays I long for that. Like in the 90s, movies were great, like really good. And the 80s movies were really, really good. I would love for us to go back to that, but I'll settle for.
I think even in the 2000s we were still getting some pretty good stuff.
It was good. It was a little edgelord, but it was good. It was.
Yeah, but like when I think of 2000s movies, I think of which honestly is because of how fucking obnoxious the fucking millennials are. But it's because. I think of like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Okay. My favorite was always Pirates of the Caribbean. I love the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They're great. And it's just like that. That era of like those type of movies were still a thing in the 2000s.
Yeah, and then like in the 2010s, it went downhill. But it was like in 2010s, there are a bunch of movies that are okay, but nothing like spectacular. Like you'll never. That's the one thing I always think of. Like, you never hear people talking about movies like you did back then, where it was like, man, remember Fight Club? Like the layers, and people would talk about this movie and just be like this and this. Remember The Matrix? Like what is that? Like, okay, let's explore this. And 2010s, or 2000s, Lord of the Rings. Like, holy fucking shit! What he accomplished with just like real sets and real real shit. Harry Potter, like, wow, that's so interesting, like what they did. And then you get into the 2010s, and it's like I can't think of a goddamn movie that even came out that people are like, whoa.
The only one is 2014 Mad Max Fury Road. I think that is a brilliant
Yeah,
movie.
that's good.
Yeah, that's a fucking fun. And I'm happy I got to see that one in theaters because that movie is like a once in a lifetime movie now. That I
Yeah.
watched it and I was like, holy shit, this is a movie.
But for the most part, most of those movies, aside from a couple of those, are pretty forgettable, and they just kind of happen, and people ate
Yeah.
it up, and then it completely gets out of your brain.
Even
Nowadays,
when it is even when it is interesting, a lot of the like people that just watch the fucking Marvel movies and stuff like shit on it. So all those like outlets. Like
Mhm.
I remember whenever the sequel to Blade Runner came out, the new one,
Oh
it
yeah.
was actually kind of good. Like I actually liked it. And then like all the outlets are like, it's not the original. Go watch Spider Man.
I did not like the new Blade Runner. As a
I
huge
thought it was
huge
okay.
fan of the first one. It was okay. It wasn't like a terrible movie, but the
I
problem is it's Blade Runner
I
2.
I applauded it for being a film in what 2017 or something? Being a film in 2017 that had a climax that was silent and underwater.
Mm,
Like that great. Like it's awesome. And
yeah.
like the suspense was built up in that scene and like there wasn't like huge booms and orchestrated music and shit. No, it was just like
I
a nice condensed scene.
I think he had an impossible task. So I don't hold
He
it
did.
against him. Is make a sequel to a movie that needs no sequel.
Yeah.
And it's like, we explored what we could, but it's just not really possible. But I almost long for the days when we had movies that just kind of happened and then disappeared from your brain. Like that, I
Yeah.
almost long for that because now we have movies that I have a feeling that they're making these movies and they want to see how bad they can get. They're just like how bad can we fuck up this movie, and they're just betting on it. They're like, I think what if Snow White was Hispanic and the dwarves were CGI? They're like, fuck yeah, I want to see it.
I Dude, I remember the days where Iron Man 2 was the worst Marvel movie.
Yeah. Now it's like
And that's not even like a bad movie.
right. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that movie was not as good as the first one. That's like the bad thing you could say about
Y
it. Now it's like
Yeah.
this movie is a
It was like,
dumpster fire.
I didn't like it as much as the first one.
This movie is a meteor that just cratered through the earth. Like, wow! Now these movies are so bad.
I know. Now I'm watching the Marvels and I'm like, man, I kinda wanna watch Iron Man 2.
Yeah, man, that looks like a masterpiece. That looks like John Wick. Like, Jesus.
Remember the cool scene with Whiplash where Whiplash whipped apart that race car? Man, that was cool. I wanna watch that again.
Yeah. Jeez, it's like I long for the day where I would just forget that a movie came out. Now it's Jesus. Yeah, it's brutal.
At least
Brian
Star Wars
remembers Mad
stopped.
Max.
I mean, we're getting hey, Fury Road is great. I haven't seen the new one, the Furiosa one. I heard it was good though.
It was okay. It wasn't as good as Fury Road.
I'm sure it'll be fine though.
You know what nobody talks about is the first Mad Max. Everyone forgets what the first Mad Max was. It was not
Yeah.
futuristic at all.
Bunch
It
of
was in
bunch
the
of dudes in Australia. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't what people think of Mad Max, and it's very jarring, and it's not very good, to be honest. Apparently, it sold it did really well, which is surprising me because it's not a very good movie.
Yeah.
Second one is great. Second one is like, holy shit, this is good. And what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, I actually think that Return to Thunderdome, the first third of that movie is phenomenal. As soon as he leaves the Thunderdome city, it kind of falls off a cliff, but the first third is really good. So, for what it's worth.
And I complain about Marvel movies and Disney movies and all this shit, but I'm part of the problem because every time there's a Star Wars thing, I'm watching it, and
You
I
haven't
know
given up?
I know it's not going to be good.
I gave up.
No, they give me a little sprinkle of hope every once in a while, and it keeps me going. It keeps me going. It keeps me trucking. I'm like just the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian and that first season of Andor. That was just enough for me to be like, okay, there's still some good in here. And now there's a second season of Andor coming, and then there's the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is happening. So like, part of me is like, there's a chance. There is a chance.
We'll
see.
people told me that the Andor thing is, they're like, oh, yeah, most Star Wars shit sucks now, but have you seen Andor? And I'm like, no, I'm not watching anything Star Wars anymore. I'm just done.
Good.
I'm not going to watch anything Star Wars. I refuse.
Okay. That's your priority, but I'm just telling you that they're right. Andor is like objectively like a good, like was a really good show. The first season, at least, was like really good.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Like I don't even think I don't even think you can just remove it from Star Wars and it would just be a good show. So,
but yeah, like I'm sure it is, but like at a certain point with this shit, you got to cut it off. You got to cut these fuckers off, and they're just gonna keep releasing all this gobs of shit, and you just got to be like, until you stop and take a break for a little bit, I'm done.
The moment I was scared, I knew those movies were going to be terrible, the sequel movies. The moment I was scared for sure was the season 3 of The Mandalorian, when I watched the episode that had Jack Black and Lizzo in it. And I was like, oh,
yeah, that could be a problem.
Guys, no.
I honestly was kind of hopeful. I didn't think that it was going to be that bad. The Last Jedi made me realize it was going to be a train wreck, and then from then on, it was just like trash heap after trash heap.
That's so funny because the Last Jedi is the only one of those that I actually sort of like.
I hated it, but I think I more hated the idea that it was clear that they had no direction. Like I was like,
no, that was clear.
I thought they were. With the first one, it was like. It was a decently well-made movie. I had issues with ideas of it, but it was like, okay, they're trying to get us back in, and they're introducing all these new characters, and then they're going to do something cool with them, right? And I was like, okay, I'll buy into that. And then with The Last Jedi, I was like, oh, they don't have any idea. They literally have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then
I like.
Yeah.
I like Rian Johnson. I think he's directed some really good stuff. I like the Knives Out movies and stuff, and I like the stuff he did for Breaking Bad. He directed some of the best episodes of Breaking Bad. Like he directed Ozymandias, which is like the penultimate episode where all the shit goes sideways. And it's a great episode of the series. It's like fucking 400 miles per hour like episode of that show. So yeah, I like him, but really they should have just had J.J. Abrams do all 3 movies,
right?
Because it felt like Force Awakens was like, it wasn't bad. Force Awakens was like, we're building up to it, and then when you watch The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson was like, no, we're not. And then that got people so upset that whenever J.J. Abrams came back for Rise of Skywalker, he was like, actually, yes, we are. And so like he had to do all that in the third movie. And it was like,
it was a mess.
It made the third movie. It made that third movie like unbearable to go back to. Like the first time you're watching, it's fine, I think, because you're just like, oh, you're on the adventure. But any rewatches of that third movie are just god awful because
I don't know.
It's an exhausting movie.
I remember being in the theater watching the third movie and was baffled. I said I was just watching like, this movie's a mess.
I remember laughing because like they tried to build up stakes with the scene where Rey and Kylo are playing tug of war with that cruiser, and then they blow it up and Chewie dies. And you're like, no, Chewie! And it's like, oh no, like something actually happened. And then like literally like 2 minutes later, they show that Chewie was still alive. I was cackling in the theater during that. I was like, wow, we can have no stakes, can we? We can have nothing. You can't even kill Chewie. Yeah. You can't even kill him. Like you couldn't let me even believe he was dead for 30 minutes. Like it's literally like the next scene. It's like no, he's still here.
I remember with that movie specifically. Just they were going to the desert for a desert party with Lando, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I felt like I had just woken up from like a coma. And I felt like I had my eyes closed, and I opened them, and they're in the desert with an old Lando. I'm like, how do
My favorite
we get here?
my favorite my favorite part of that movie is the end where it was Lando and that like other black stormtrooper, and then it's like I don't know where I come from, and Lando's like, let's go find out, and he flies off, and nothing's ever come of that. I'm like, they clearly were like, that's gonna lead to a whole thing, and then like it didn't.
Yeah.
So, now that's the last canonical appearance of Lando. It's like, let's go find out.
He's finding out in a galaxy far, far away.
Now, see, I liked Last Jedi because I think I understood what Rian Johnson was going for. He really wanted to like subvert a lot of the expectations of Star Wars, and I enjoyed that. Like, I like the fact that like which they took it back in the next movie, but he was like, no, Rey came from like nobody. Like she's not from a lineage. She's from fucking nobodies. And they killed Snoke. It's like, okay, so there is no like Palpatine type character. Snoke's dead. Like I liked what they were like what he was going for, but the problem is like nobody else was on board for this idea that he had.
I don't oppose the idea of it. Wrong movie, wrong series to do that in, because you got to get everybody on board for something like that, and you got to then make that mean something later. He was on an island on that, like, and which baffles me, because obviously 1 million people worked on the movie and people produced it. So I'm like, I'm so confused. They will break down this trilogy at some point, and try to understand how this got made, where you had a $6 billion property and nobody had any idea, to the point that they changed directors on each movie, and they apparently had their own opinions on what they should do.
Yeah.
And they played out in these movies that cost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make.
Well, and it's the fact that like after Rian Johnson made Last Jedi, they had a choice, right? They could either write it out and build upon what he did there, or the choice they took was to just sweep it under the rug, right?
But the problem,
and that's exactly what they did.
The problem with Rian Johnson's view of it was there was no view. Was there? He didn't he didn't set anything up for 3. That's the problem. What did you set up? You literally.
That's true.
Rey doesn't have. What's Rey's future? She doesn't have one. What's up with all these stories? There is no story. It's like, oh, thanks.
You still had they. I guess what he left open was like a really unstable brand, right? Which is something you could have done something with. What? Yeah, he didn't. Luke's dead. Which, I mean, I actually liked Luke in that movie. Like I liked.
He died in the dumbest way too. He died because he got really tired.
He died the dumbest way. He used too much force. He used too much force energy or whatever.
Midichlorian overload.
And I still live by the fact that Finn should have also died in that movie whenever he was like charging towards that laser in that ship, and then Rose like pushed him out of the way. No, they should have just fucking killed him. Finn should have died.
Rose should have died. I think Rose should have died. And Finn.
They both should have died. They killed them all.
In my fan fiction, yes, both of them died horrifically, and that was greatly expanded upon. But
yeah, and so that there was that that kind of ruined part of the movie. Also, just the whole Rose and Finn subplot at that casino was not necessary at all.
Remove it.
Cut it out, man. Cut it out. Like, I get they had to go find that dude or whatever. They had to find that dude. They don't give a shit. What was that guy even called? Do you remember the guy was called? They had to go find that like had the weird stutter.
I think this is called I Am Gay. I can't remember. I think it was something like that.
I Am Gay.
I don't remember what his name.
Yeah. So that was and look, I like what's the other guy's name? The pilot. Fuck. I don't know, fuck his name. Poe, right? Yeah, Poe Dameron. I don't mind Poe, and at least in that first movie and some of the second movie, but I really didn't like the story with Poe in the second one as either, because it was basically like the new commander, whatever her name was for the ship,
Yeah.
and Poe and Leia were like butting heads, and all they had to do, if Poe is like leading the resistance for them, all they had to do is just tell Poe what their actual plan was. That's all they had to do. Instead, they just wouldn't tell him the fucking plan, and so Poe like rebelled and thought did what he thought was going to work, which I mean makes sense in terms of the story, but it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't just fucking tell the guy what you're gonna fucking do if you're supposed to be on the same side.
Yeah, you kind of rooting for Poe on
Instead
this
of being
one.
like,
It's bizarre.
yeah, you're kind of rooting for Poe because they're stupid for being like, okay, well you're a commander of the rebel, army or whatever, and but don't worry about what we're doing. We're not going to tell you. It's like, yeah, of course you'd be worried.
Yeah.
But awful. And then also
Awful.
it doesn't help that Carrie Fisher died between 8 and 9, so they couldn't even build off of that. They had to just kill off Leia. So yeah, they really didn't have anything to go on with this 9.
Didn't she die before The Last Jedi released? I think she did, right?
Yeah.
Which made the scene where she was flying which made the scene where she was flying in space all the more stupid.
The Mary Poppins scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like in my head, I was like, oh, this is the perfect way to kill her off. Like do something really dramatic in space. And then they're like, no, she survived and she came back. You're like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. And then they had to like have her sister stand in and like reuse old clips and stuff for 9, and then kill her off under a blanket. That's like what they had to do for 9. Yeah, I was like, well, they're so much. Yeah, they should have just had Leia die in space.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect, honestly, if they did, because they'd be like, okay, Han's dead, Luke's dead, Leia's dead. Like the there's no ties to the original anymore,
Right.
Like they could have really gone for that, and they no. And of course, because there were no ties to the original in the 9, they were like a fake Chewie death, and also a fake out 3CPO death. Not really a death, but they were gonna have to like wipe his memory because of some Sith language that if he read, he couldn't read it, because of his protocol, so they had to wipe his memory so he could read it or something. But he was like, but then I won't remember my friends. And I was like, stop holding on to this fucking original trilogy by the balls,
Yeah.
It's like just knock it off.
Yeah,
like,
all your friends are dead.
Those movies never had a chance to be their own movies because basically the entire marketing was, remember the original trilogy?
Yeah.
It's back.
I saw a post from somebody that was like, it was the epitome of stupid fanboy. He's like, all I want to see is what happened to Luke Skywalker after the original trilogy. If you could make that, that's what I would watch. And I think it just entirely misses the point that movies have to like have a driving story. Like there has to be a reason they're doing it. Like The Last of Us. It's about something. It's about fatherhood. That's what it's about. Now the plot might be that they're in a post-apocalyptic world with yada yada yada, and they got to do this to get to A to B and yada yada. But the point is, it's about fatherhood. The Star Wars movies were about family. I hate to be like that with the Red Letter Media shit because it ruins it. But the Star Wars movies were about family, father-son dynamic. So to continue it after his father is dead and he avenged his death, and like, what did he do after? He fought a new Sith. It's like there's no story to that, and that's the problem with these movies is that the story's over. You really have to, like you said, you can't really tie it to the original trilogy. You got to make a new thing. And you could probably have these characters in it, maybe in passing, but the focus needs to be these new characters and what they mean and yeah.
That's why the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian are so fucking good.
Yeah.
It was because they were just their own thing.
I will
Yeah,
say the first
they
season specifically.
really? You looked at the second one?
The second one to me was a commercial for all the offshoots they wanted to make. I
Yeah.
felt that was a little distracting, but the first season
Yeah,
is really good.
I mean, I didn't mind whenever like Ahsoka or Boba Fett and stuff showed up. Like I was like, cool, but like it was after the fact, after they were like, okay, here comes Book of Boba Fett, and then you spent half the show in the fucking Bacta tank, and I was like, what is this? What is this show? Yeah, that's when I knew they didn't know what they were doing. Oh yeah, and 2 episodes of the book of Boba Fett are just Mandalorian. Those are the best 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about the Book of Boba Fett, that is it's interesting on that one because everybody always wanted like a Boba Fett centric show or movie or whatever.
Thing, yeah.
And what's cool about Boba Fett is the mystery. And
Yeah,
they
and
nailed
just-
all of that in The Mandalorian. And so when
Yeah.
so when they released the Book of Boba Fett, they're like, what do we do? Well, let's I guess the only thing we can do is have him take his mask off and talk about politics. Like, all right, let's do that. And it was
Yeah,
a disaster.
well, Yeah. He just became Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Space Joe Rogan.
Because the best part about Mando was that it took all of the stuff you liked about like Jango Fett and Boba Fett, but like it put it back into this character that's mysterious.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And like you didn't really you wanted to learn more about him, but you don't. You know what I mean? It's like you want to stay at a distance still,
Mhm.
and I think they've maintained that with him pretty well. You have learned some stuff, but it's still like
Third
he's
season
still a pretty
excluded, right?
mysterious character. Third season excluded. That season was not great, but first 2 seasons, yeah. Third season, goddamn, there was that one episode of the third season where him and Bo-Katan were chasing the pterodactyl thing that stole a kid from the Mandalorian faction or something, and I don't care. I don't care about this other Mandalorian faction.
Yeah, at a certain point in season 3, and it's very early, you realize you don't care, and then you just go
It's
off
like,
the cliff on that one.
well, because they had such a good setup. They had such a good setup for the first 2 seasons too. It was basically like they were self-contained. They were basically like Mando and Grogu would go to a place, a story would happen, and then then they would leave, and that was basically the whole show, and it worked. And then season 3, they were like, no, we have to have an overarching plot now with this other Mandalorian faction, and also Moff Gideon is still here, so we have to do something with him too.
Yeah.
And it was like, do we? Do we need to do this?
Yeah. Yeah, it is terrible.
It's like, no, we have to. like, can't we just have Mando and Grogu to go do shit? Like, that's what's fun. That's what worked. I love the episode from that first season where they go to that village and it's being attacked by the AT-ATs.
Yeah.
And it's treated like a monster for the village. It's cool. It's a nice episode. I like that one a lot.
We should probably wrap the show up.
Yeah. People are probably tired of us bitching about Star Wars for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah. But we're at about the 2-hour mark.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this after the fact, thanks for coming and watching the live episode. Why weren't you here? Next Saturday will be a new episode of Quest for the Worst. So get ready for more of the worst, because we'll be there giving it to you
At the worst.
at our worst.
Yeah, we're at our worst on this one, boys. Gotta see it. Do we never told them what it is, right? We can tell them, right? We used to tell them.
Oh yeah. So it is, Spencer picked Batman Forever for Super Nintendo. So next week we will have an episode of, it's already scheduled, episode of Quest for the Worst on Batman Forever. So you get to see us play that and talk about Batman.
So if you like Batman, you'll love that. Maybe not.
If you like Forever.
If you're a fan of Forever, you'll like this one. Anyway,
All right.
bye guys.